Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in the Stank representing the squad. And today I got some really spicy sauce for you. So we're representing and I'm showcasing my new tech build on Lightsworn. I was doing a lot of variations with the Lightsworn. I was doing everything but the standard, you know, the build with Brilliant Fusion and just other cards. Like I didn't want to do it. I wanted a non-conventional build. Pretty much all my decks, I try to make them non-conventional. See, you know, if we can make them work with other things. So what I'm coming at you today is with Super Quantum Lightsworns. And I gotta say, I love me some Power Rangers. This deck really does go hard in the paint. This card, by far, is a lot more powerful than Masterpieces. I guarantee you this card can deal with Masterpiece on his worst day. He has insane effects. We'll go over him once we get to the extra deck. But this deck goes pretty crazy. It's bananas. So let's go ahead and hop into the main deck and we'll show you how this deck is working. So I run 2 Judgment and 2 Punishment. I find that this ratio is really perfect on the deck, especially because like you don't want to play 3 of any of these. You really don't want to open up with them. You'd much rather search them or see them later on in the duel. This card, I found that it helped me to grind a lot harder because when I banish my, like when I'm link summoning, I banish my links and then use his effect to put them back from the banish zone into my deck, and then he pretty much recycles everything. All my spells, all my extra deck staples, my Tornado Dragon, you know, like anything, even my Super Quantum XYZs and like my Borload and Skull Dread and Firewall, stuff like that. This card recycles everything. You never deck out because of him. And he puts all your charges back. He's a lot better than Judgment Dragon. I'll put it that way. Like, this guy is way better than Judgment Dragon. I just feel that. You know, that's my opinion. Some say Judgment's better. He's a board wipe, but this card's insane for the grind game. So much synergy. Incredible card. So your 4 dragons. And then this is Lightsworn. It's actually Lightsworns. We play a lot of Lightsworn monsters. We're not just doing Wolf and Raiden. This is an actual Lightsworn deck. So we play 3 Raidens. Of course, it's a hybrid, but it's a lot of Lightsworns. So 3 Raidens. I still like Raiden at 3 in this build. And I also play 2 Garoth. All my Lightsworn decks, I play Garoth because this card is just insane. He's kind of like a Pot of Desire's own leg in the sense that you draw 2 every single time. Like, you could trigger him multiple times. I've actually drawn 12 cards off of this card in 1 turn. Garoth is insane. You just want to set up Minerva and Garoth before you go off so that you can draw your 5 cards, potentially. The least I've drawn is 3, which is still incredible. And then after that, it also mills more from your decks. You trigger a lot more effects. You get your sacks off. You load your grave. You set up with Snow. And it's GG after that. So 3 Raiden, 2 Garoth. And then your sacks that you want to be hitting is 3 Wolf. And also 2 copies of Felice. Now Wolf and Felice are just amazing cards, insane. I hate to draw them, but I love it when I hit them. Felice, I consider bumping her to 3 because I love hitting her off of certain cards, but I was like 2 is perfect because she's a little bit more difficult to pull off than Wolf because Wolf can be sent by anything, but she has to be sent by a monster. Then I do play 2 Lilas because in the Draco matchup, she's just a predominant force herself. By herself, she can pretty much deal with the diagram and sometimes the heritage for 3. And it's just like every single turn you're triggering her. Whenever a card effect activates, you just trigger her. Pop, chain, pop. You can even play your own Charge of the Light Brigade, mill for cost, chain her effect, pop. Like she's better than Twin Twister sometimes. So I love her. And I still play the 1 Lila because you definitely want to hit the anti-spell. Like if they already activated anti-spell and you have this card in your hand, you can't really do much. But with the Lila, you could just out the anti-spell. You can play through the strikes because you force them to activate it or it gets popped. I like her. She's good going second. She's good going first. But all in all, these are my my back row hate cards. And you play 6 of these because you play 3 charges to search them. Besides the Lilas, we also still play the Lumina package. I love the Lumina loop. All you really do is you just you use Lumina to bring back Twilight Shaman, and then you link summon with your Lumina, and then use Twilight Shaman to bring back Lumina, and then you link summon with your Twilight Shaman, then use Lumina to bring back your Twilight. And then link summon with this Lumina, and then use this to bring her back, and then you link summon with this. You just keep going. It's the Lumina loop. I showed you guys in the video. As long as you can keep cards in your hand, you can do it forever. So you can play a lot more link monsters. Before I played the Power Rangers in my deck, my Lightsworns are really just a link summon heavy deck. Like they do what Spirals thought they could do, but better. So that's a lot of Lightsworns. I believe it's 17. I like to get my good mills off of Minerva. I like to have enough names and targets, and all the Lightsworns have great effects. I wouldn't like cut any of them. I like them a lot. I even consider putting in the Raikou, the Twilight Sworn Raikou, because he banishes cards, and that's incredible. Then we have your Power Rangers. So the Super Quantums are interesting. They're not too old, but they came out maybe like I think what, like 2 years ago. I think Wing Raiders. I forgot when that came out. Whenever Omega, Psyframes, And then what's it called? Breaksword first came out. Whenever all that stuff first came out, that's the same set. They came in Wing Raiders. So you have 2 Super Quantum, Fairy Alphen, 2 Blue Layers. So these are your engine starters. This is pretty much the Strato of the archetype. I love these cards, by the way. They look like Power Rangers. So she searches for any Super Quantum card on normal or special summon. And then they all have graveyard effects. So her graveyard effect, she targets up to 3 Super Quantum cards in your graveyard. And they're just Super Quant cards. So it could be your extra decks, your spells, your traps, your monsters. Put them back into the deck. Including herself. She can even target herself as long as you have a valid target to begin with. And then Fairy Alphen, he's insane. He's like, I don't know. He's like a pseudo-pantheism. So once per turn, you can target 1 Super Quant you control. And then all your other monsters become that monster's level. So you can do some crazy XYZ plays and synchro summoning plays. And then also, he can tribute himself from the field to reveal 3 Super Quants with different names. Your opponent randomly selects 1. That one gets special. The other 2 hit the grave. What's good about that is you trigger 3 effects because all the Super Quantums have effect if they're sent to the graveyard, just like Burning Abysses. They don't have to be sent from the field. They can be sent from the hand, the deck, the grave, anywhere. As long as they're sent to the graveyard, if you read the card text, if this card is sent to the graveyard, their effects will trigger. So this card can literally just like set you up for your victory. He's insane. When you resolve this, like if they don't ash it, oh yeah, they're in trouble now. And then we have 2 Green Power Ranger. He's my favorite one because he looks the coolest, and green's my favorite color. So he's pretty much your Goblinberg. He's gonna special any quant from your hand when he's normal or special. And then also, if he's sent to the graveyard, you can discard a quant card to draw a card. And whatever quant card you discard, depending on what it is, it'll get another effect on a separate chain link. I like him a lot. And then we have 2 Red Rangers. Red Ranger is probably like one of the best ones for the grind games. If you control no monsters, you can special summon him and then add a Super Quant card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever he's no more special, you add a Quant card from grave to hand. And then if he's sent to the graveyard, you can also special summon a Super Quant monster from your graveyard, including the XYZs. If they're properly XYZ summoned, he revives them back. So he has 3 effects. He's like Cyber Dragon, but if you control no monsters, you could bring him out. Your opponent doesn't have to control one. Then he adds from grave to hand, and he specials from grave. So that's why I said he's important for the grind games. He's gonna add your resources back as well as her. So it's just 2, 2, and 2. I wanted to do 2 of all of them, just the 8-card package. You never run out. You recycle everything. It's a really powerful engine, and it allows you to be more dominant on your opponent's turn because you have the oppression of Snow, a Trident during either player's turn, a Book of Moon during either player's turn, and basically a Tornado Dragon with 2800 defense. And then for your engine cards, well, pretty much for your engine starters, we have 3 Goblinberg and 3 Fairy Tale Snow. Fairy Tale Snow is standalone, one of the most annoying cards to deal with. I find it weird that her leg looks like that. I don't know if she's a puppet. I don't know what she is, but she's amazing, dude. Like, seriously, Snow should have been banned. If they don't hit her on this ban list, man, I don't understand what they're doing, but they should have hit Snow to 1 a long time ago. Or at least just ban her. Forget that. Just ban the hoe, because she's just too much. Like, when you can set up with this card, or even if you could set up with, like, the Book of Moon during the player's turn, or set up with, like, the Investee, you have a lot of oppression, because you have the ability to stop your opponent in the middle of his plays, because they all activate during either player's turn. It's just insane. So Snow is so good. She's an extender a lot of the times. When you're making your board, she allows you to make that second rank 4 or that second level 8 synchro, or make that other link monster or trigger your firewall again. Snow is just great. And then you have 2 Eclipse Wyverns to search out your judgment and your punishment. All of these cards, any cards that you have in your hand that are dead at the moment, can be sent from your hand to the graveyard using either Lumina or the field spell that the Super Quantums play. So you can fix your hands. And then we also have a small performance package. We have 2 Hat Trickers, 1 Trick Clown, and 1 Damage Juggler. This package is amazing. Like, Lightsworns are able to play so many engines that actually have a lot of good correlation and synergy with the deck and the archetype and way it plays. So you would think like, oh, look at all these engines. Like, doesn't it clog? Everything actually works perfectly. It's amazing how it seems like these are just meant to be. My other spicy tech, man, is Flowerbot. So I've been telling Lightsworn players this forever, and like nobody wants to listen to me, but that's fine. I play Flowerbot because it fixes your hands. If this card's sent to the graveyard, it's a mandatory effect. You have no choice. You draw a card if it's sent to the graveyard. Then you can place 1 card from your hand to the top of your deck. Now let me tell you, I was able to do a Minerva to draw 3 cards. I literally, before I even made my Minerva, I used Lumina to go into the Minerva in the first place. I had Garoth, and then I normal summoned Goblinberg. I brought out the Lumina. The Garoth came out. I had like, it was crazy. I had my setup for Garoth and Minerva, and then I discarded this for cost of Lumina and brought back I think it was like Raiden or something like that. And this triggered me to draw a card, and then I put my Wolf on from my hand because I drew Wolf as a deck card on my top of my deck. Then I used my Minerva to detach, and I milled the same Wolf that I just stacked on my deck. I drew and then specialed, and this card, like, it was just an MVP because it drew me a fresh card, which was Solar Recharge. And then it fixed my hand. So it's like a baby Scoldred. It's really good. It's not once per turn. I recommend you try it out. And I don't know why, but Lightsworn players don't run this card. I feel like they didn't even know like this card existed. But we're trying to put you guys on game. We're trying to show y'all some crazy stuff. Flower Bot, MVP, never cut it. And then for the one-ups, Giant Rex and Glowbulb. Glowbulb, I was considering playing Nat Beast, but since I don't have the card right now, it's kind of just like here as a an extender, or even it can sometimes be like one of the ways that you can like make your Scoldred using four monsters with different names, which I've used this to do so. So I still do like it. I haven't really like been able to get my hands on a Naturia Beast, but once I do, this will stay in for that exact reason. And then also you can make Trishula out of your extra deck if you play Trishula. So that's pretty much it for all the monsters. It's a lot. Then for your spells, you play the charges. You play 3 Charge of the Light Brigade and 3 Solar Recharge. You play so many Lightsworns, this is never a dead card. I find it funny when you see 60 card like Lightsworn Dinos and stuff, they play like 5 Lightsworns and then they're playing like these bricks. Like, you're not playing enough Lightsworns for this to be live. And we don't play Predaplants, we don't play Brilliant Fusion. We're doing a different, we're playing Lightsworns in a different way. We have 2 Super Quantum Mech Ship Magna Carrier. I'm going to read this card because this card's actually insane. This is the original 1-card XYZ. Before Zodiac came out, this was already doing it. So Power Rangers did it first. So we have discard 1 card, target 1 Super Quantum you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 Super Quantum Mech Beast XYZ with the same attribute. So when you get to the extra deck, there's a Super Quantum for every Power Ranger. It's like they're Megazoids, right? And then they Megamorph into the Mighty Power Ranger. So you target 1, you special, you pretty much 1 card XYZ, you stack an XYZ on top of 1 monster. So that's pretty much what you're going to do as the first effect. And that's not once per turn, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, that's not once per turn. It's really not. I'm reading it right now. Also, you can send this card from the field to the graveyard and target 3 Super Quantum Mech Beast XYZ monsters with different names that you control or in your graveyard. Special summon Mech King Great Magnus from your extra deck and attach those and their XYZ materials, them and their materials, under him. So it's going to be summoning out this boss monster. We'll explain him when we get to the extra deck. This card is retarded. He's very slept on. Even a Kaiju cannot stop him. He's just like invincible. He's really good. And he's worth the investment. So when you have this on the field and you have multiple Power Rangers, as long as you have the hand to discard, you can actually trigger this multiple times. Read the card, look it up. It's totally legal. You can stack your XYZs. That's why we're trying to link summon first so that we can have multiple extra deck monsters. And then we play 2 Optimus Prime because I do need to see this field spell. It's really good. It unbricks my hands. Discarding is really good sometimes. I'll have Snows, Eclipse Wyverns, Trick Clowns, Damage Jugglers. I'll have like Flower Bots, Giant Rex, all these cards that I won in the grave, and it puts them in the grave, so it serves multiple purposes. Metal Force Fusion, you can mill it, you can discard it with this, you can discard it with Lumina. It's just a great card to play. And then Foolish Burial and 1-for-1 to get to either your what's it called, the Glowbulb, or you can get to your Fairy Alphin. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. Now the extra deck, this is where the spice comes. So first and foremost, the boss of the deck. So the Power Rangers all have little baby Zoids that megamorph into this guy. I'm going to read his effects. So first of all, if this card's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 3 Super Quantum Mech Beast XYZs with different names from your graveyard. So long as they're properly summoned, you can revive them, right? And the funny thing is, there was a loop that I used to do back in the day with my Super Quantum Monarchs, back when Monarchs were at full power. I would use my Light Monarch Zabor to send him from my extra deck to the graveyard to trigger his effect to special summon my beast, and then summon the other Magnus over them using the field spell, which was retarded. And you can actually do that. This card has to be sent to the graveyard. It doesn't have to be sent from the field. It just has to be sent to the graveyard. So if you have like Gale Dogras, you can use your Gale Dogras for the spice, dump him. It's really, really good. So that's the first effect. You send him to the graveyard, special 3. And then he gains effects based on his XYZ materials. If he has 2 or more, during either player's main phase, he can detach, shuffle 1 card from the field to the deck. Doesn't target, doesn't destroy. If he has 4 or more, he's unaffected by all card effects except super quant cards. So he's stronger than Masterpiece because he's unaffected by everything. He's stronger than Masterpiece because he's bigger than Masterpiece. He's stronger than Masterpiece because he can shuffle, diagram, and attack over Masterpiece. True Draco Monarch's Erupt isn't going to negate his effects. He's unaffected. And he's stronger than Masterpiece because if you Kaiju him, he floats into 3 huge monsters that can literally turn into another one of him. And then let me explain why he's stronger than Masterpiece still. If he has 6 or more, your opponent cannot add cards from their deck to their hand by card effects. Whether it's drawing or searching, you can't add them from your deck to your hand except for your normal draw phase. So this card is one heck of a boss monster when I say that. They're like, see it, like you'll go like game 2 and 3, you summon this guy, they're like, oh, Kaiju. And you're like, okay, separate chain effect, 1, 2, 3. Okay, activate effects. Like, it's just crazy. It's really, really crazy. This card is so powerful. I don't even understand why people don't play him. And then my Magna Liner, this is the rank 5 Super Quantum XYZ. It's the only one that I couldn't pick up. And I used to have this full core. I traded to one of my teammates, and you know, he's keeping his. So I'm gonna be looking for my red XYZ. But Magna Liner, basically they all do like interactions. So the blue one, this is for her. I'll pull out the Power Rangers that fit their little, you know, their Zoids, right? So you have red, green, and blue. So if you can pay attention, or if you can just pretty much see, like, blue layer has the Grand Pulse. This is her Zoid. And then you have green layer, this is his Zoid. And then Magna Liner, red layer, it's his Zoid. So they all have the effect where they can pretty much like pop a card or like book a moon. So this one says basically they all can't be used. They all cannot attack unless they have XYZ material. That's all their effects. And then once per turn, you can detach a card from this XYZ monster, and you can pop a monster on the field. And this effect can be activated during either player's turn if this card has a Super Quantum under it as an XYZ material. So it's a spell speed 1 if it's just a regular, because they're generic XYZs, any deck can make them. But if you have their actual Power Rangers riding them, like piloting them, they have spell speed 2 effects. So this becomes during either player's turn, Trident for monsters. Also, once per turn, you can attach, is it once per turn? Or is it just, yeah, once per turn, you can attach 1 Super Quantum monster or Super Quant from your hand or your field to this card as an XYZ material. So they reload their materials. So they keep putting ammunition. So during either player's turn, this one's going to pop a monster, and he can just put materials under himself endlessly. You can even set up for your Magnus to give him like 6 materials so that he's unaffected by everything. They can't search, and he shuffles everything. He's insane. And then this one during either player's turn is a Book of Moon. And like he has the same effects as all of them, like put a material under them from the field or the hand. And then this one during either player's turn is going to pop a spell or trap. So you have like MST, Spell Speed 2, MST, Book of Moon, and like Pseudo Trident. It pops monsters. But when you have these, like there's a way you can actually get all of these on the field under your Star User Skull Dread. When you have Skull Dread and these, it's pretty much like your opponent has to play through 3 forms of disruption. And if you choose so, you can just upgrade all of them into your Magnus for the next turn, and then that's going to be game. So I only play like one of each of the Super Quantum Roids because my extra deck's really tight. If I have more space, I play like a second of the rank 5. Remember, this is a proxy. I don't have it right now. A second of the rank 4, a second of the rank 3, and probably a second Magnus, because you have to, right now, like the way I'm running it, you have to use the Blue Ranger to recycle all of these back into your extra deck, and use the Red Ranger to like special them from grave and add them back, because she doesn't shuffle to main deck, she just shuffles into the deck. And that's pretty much it for the Super Quantums. Then you have 2 Minervas, 1 Tornado Dragon for your generic XYZs. Then for your links, we have Borload, Skull Dread, Firewall, Curios, Proxy, and Underclock for your co-linking plays. I wanted to play more link monsters, but the extra deck's really, really tight, as you can see. And I think Tornado Dragon's kind of stupid to play because I have like a better card than Tornado. That's a rank 3. So ultimately, this could just be cut for another link monster, and that's what I feel like it could be. Or it could be the second Omega. And for the 2 Synchros, we play Omega and Michael. I still play Michael because I like being able to recycle all my Lightsworns back and gain those life points in the grind games. So I feel like it's really good, and also banishing cards, like it's pretty strong. So that's pretty much it for the extra deck, the main deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This deck is really spicy. It's never been tried before. This is the first Lightsworn Super Quantum deck profile up on YouTube, and I'm gonna keep working on the deck, keep making it better, and I'm actually going to see what I can do with this deck. Like, Even if it's just for fun, I'm going to see how far I can go with it. But I love you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content, and you'll definitely be hearing from me soon. Peace.